The Grand Council chamber sparkled like a field of stars. Thousands of floating platforms held representatives from every major species in the known galaxy. Light from the nearby binary stars streamed through the massive crystal dome, casting rainbow patterns across the assembled dignitaries. Ambassador Trell stood at the central podium, his silver scales reflecting the chamber's light. As the head of the Ancient Worlds Coalition, he had overseen these millennial assessments for over 300 years. His deep voice echoed through the chamber as he addressed the council. "We gather today to evaluate the progress of our newest members," he announced, his 4 eyes scanning the room. Most notably, the species known as humans, who achieved faster-than-light travel merely 50 years ago. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. On their designated platform, the human representatives maintained neutral expressions. They were 3 in number, 2 males and 1 female, wearing simple blue uniforms that looked plain compared to the elaborate robes of other species. "The humans have shown remarkable adaptability," Trell continued, though his tone carried a hint of condescension. "They have established colonies on 17 worlds and maintained trade relations with 43 species. However, their military capabilities remain modest." Several council members nodded in agreement. The humans were known to operate only small patrol vessels and cargo ships. Their largest military vessel was barely half the size of a standard council peacekeeping ship. "We must now vote on their status," Trell announced. "They seek elevation from provisional to full membership, but given their limited development." A loud alarm cut through his speech. Red lights flashed across the chamber as the council's security systems activated. A holographic display materialized in the center of the room, showing the space around the station. "Unknown vessel detected," announced the automated system. "Size. Error. Recalibrating sensors." Trell frowned. "What seems to be the problem?" "Our sensors are the most advanced in known space." The chief of station security, a tall insectoid named Crix, rushed to his console. "Ambassador, the sensors aren't malfunctioning. They're having trouble because the object is too large to be a ship." "Explain," Trell demanded. It's 30 kilometers in length, sir. Nothing like this has ever been recorded. It's approaching at sublight speed, but the energy readings are off the charts." The chamber erupted in chaos. 30 kilometers. The largest known ships in the galaxy barely reached 3 kilometers. Such a vessel should be impossible. The power requirements alone would be astronomical. The holographic display zoomed in on the approaching object. It was dark gray in color, with clean lines and smooth surfaces that spoke of advanced engineering. As it drew closer, everyone could see the markings on its hull. "TE's Prometheus." "TE's?" one of the council members asked. "Terran exploration ship," answered the female human representative, speaking for the first time. Her voice was calm, almost amused. "Our first dreadnought." Trell's scales paled. "Impossible. Your species has only had space flight for decades. You couldn't possibly." "Request incoming," Crix announced, his mandibles clicking nervously. A new voice filled the chamber, deep and professional. "This is Captain Thomas Wells of the TES Prometheus, requesting permission to dock. We bring greetings from Earth." The human representatives finally smiled. The older male stood up, straightening his simple uniform. "Perhaps, Ambassador Trell, we should discuss our status again. There's much about humanity you don't know yet." Trell looked from the humans to the massive ship in the display, his centuries of diplomatic experience failing him for the first time. The chamber remained silent, every representative staring at the impossible vessel that had just changed everything they thought they knew about their newest members. The assessment of humanity would clearly need to be reevaluated, and this, as every being in the chamber somehow knew, was only the beginning. The docking process of the TES Prometheus took nearly 3 hours. The Council Station's automated systems struggled to handle a ship of such unprecedented size. Through the chamber's massive windows, the assembled representatives watched in stunned silence as the enormous vessel moved with impossible grace for its size. "How does it maintain such precise control?" muttered Crix, his sensors overwhelmed by the readings. "The energy signature doesn't match any known propulsion system." The human representatives remained quiet, their earlier smiles replaced by professional expressions. They stood ready near the main docking port, waiting to greet their fellow humans. When the doors finally opened, Captain Thomas Wells stepped through with 4 crew members. They wore the same simple blue uniforms as their representatives, but with silver trim. The captain was tall for a human, with gray hair and calm eyes that surveyed the chamber with quiet confidence. Ambassador Trell moved forward to perform the formal greeting. "Captain Wells, the Council welcomes you, though we are surprised by your arrival. Your ship exceeds all known engineering limits." "Thank you for the welcome, Ambassador," Wells replied. His voice carried naturally through the chamber. "The Prometheus is indeed large by your standards. We thought it time to properly introduce ourselves." One of the elder council members, a gaseous being contained in an environment suit, floated forward. "Impossible. The power requirements for a ship that size would drain a star. How do you maintain artificial gravity? Where are your heat sinks?" Wells smiled. "Perhaps a tour would answer some of your questions. The Prometheus can accommodate visitors from all council species. We have environmental chambers for every known atmosphere type." The council members looked at each other. Such accommodation chambers usually took years to perfect for each species. The humans had apparently prepared them for everyone. Before any tour, Trell interrupted, his diplomatic training reasserting itself. "We must address the deception. Your species claimed to have only basic spaceflight capabilities." "We never claimed anything," the female human representative corrected. "You assumed. We simply didn't correct those assumptions." Captain Wells nodded. "The Prometheus isn't new. We built her 20 years ago, but kept her in the shadow of Jupiter. She's actually our 3rd dreadnought. The others are patrolling the borders of human space." This revelation caused another wave of shock through the chamber. Multiple ships of this size, hidden from the council's sensors. "Show them, Captain," the older human representative suggested. Wells lifted his hand, revealing a small device. With a simple gesture, he created a hologram in the center of the chamber. It showed the Prometheus in detail, but more importantly, it showed what was inside. The ship contained entire cities, massive research facilities, and manufacturing centers that could build smaller ships. Forests and lakes provided natural environments. Farms ensured food independence. It wasn't just a ship, it was a mobile world. The Prometheus and her sister ships, Wells explained, represent humanity's answer to a simple question. How do we protect not just our military assets, but our entire civilization? These ships can sustain millions of people indefinitely. They are lifeboats for our species. Trell's scales shifted color with emotion. "You built them in secret while pretending to be barely space capable." "Why?" "Because, Ambassador," Wells answered, "history teaches us that new civilizations showing advanced technology tend to be seen as threats. We chose to observe and learn about the galaxy first, to understand the political landscape before revealing our true capabilities." The chamber fell silent again as the implications sank in. The humans hadn't just built an impossible ship, they had completely changed the balance of power in the galaxy without anyone noticing. "Now then," Wells said pleasantly, "about that tour. I believe you'll find our engine room particularly interesting. We've made some unique advances in power generation." The council members looked at each other, then at the massive ship visible through the windows. They all knew that after today, nothing in the galaxy would be the same. The tour of the Prometheus had barely begun when the station's alarms blared again. Red emergency lights flashed across every deck as Crix's voice echoed through the communication system. "Multiple hostile ships detected. It's the Blood Dawn pirate fleet." The security chief's mandibles clicked rapidly in distress. 15 heavy cruisers and 40 fighter craft approaching at combat speed. The Blood Dawn pirates were infamous across 3 sectors. They usually attacked cargo ships and colonies, but they had never dared to strike a council facility before. The timing couldn't have been worse. Half the council's defense fleet was away on routine patrol. Ambassador Trell rushed to the command center, his scales now a pale gray from stress. Launch all available ships. Contact the defense fleet for immediate return. The station's remaining defense ships, just 6 cruisers, moved to intercept. But everyone knew they were badly outnumbered. Captain Wells watched the tactical display calmly. He hadn't moved since the alarm started, and neither had his crew. "Ambassador," he said quietly, "would you accept our assistance?" Before Trell could answer, the first pirate ships opened fire. Their energy weapons flashed across space, heading straight for the station's shields. Wells didn't wait for permission. He spoke into his communicator. "Prometheus Command, initiate defense pattern Alpha. Protect the station and its people." What happened next left every council member speechless. The massive dreadnought, which many had thought too large to move quickly, shifted position with impossible speed. It placed itself between the station and the incoming fire. The pirates' weapons hit the Prometheus and simply vanished. "Energy absorption shields," one of Wells' crew members explained. "Why waste good energy?" But that was just the beginning. The Prometheus hull shifted, revealing thousands of small ports. From each one emerged a drone, about the size of a human hand. Within seconds, a cloud of drones surrounded the massive ship. "Just point defense units," Wells said casually, "for small threats." The pirate fighters reached attack range. They were known for their speed and maneuverability, the best raiders in known space. Against the drone cloud, they lasted exactly 12 seconds. Each drone moved with precision that defied normal physics. They didn't just shoot down the fighters. They disabled their weapons, engines, and communications with surgical accuracy, leaving the crews alive but helpless. The pirate cruisers opened fire with their heaviest weapons. Multiple plasma beams converged on the Prometheus, enough firepower to crack a small moon. Captain Wells smiled. "Now let's show them why size matters." The Prometheus hull rippled. Sections moved aside, revealing what looked like smooth glass panels. As the plasma beams approached, the panels lit up. The deadly plasma fire curved away from its course, formed into a perfect sphere in front of the dreadnought, and hung there like a miniature sun. "Containment field demonstration complete," Wells' tactical officer reported. "Should we return their energy to them?" Wells shook his head. "No need for destruction. Switch to the gravity nets." The sphere of captured plasma disappeared, converted back into harmless energy. Then the space around the pirate cruisers twisted. Each ship found itself trapped in its own bubble of altered gravity, unable to move or fire. The entire battle had lasted less than 5 minutes. "Threat contained," Wells announced to the stunned council members. "Ambassador Trell, we can hold these ships until your defense fleet returns. Though," he added with a slight smile, "you might want to take a look at their cargo holds. We detected several council delegates who went missing last month. Our drones can help rescue them." Trell stared at the tactical display, where 15 of the most dangerous pirate ships in the galaxy hung helpless in space. "Captain," he said finally, "I believe we need to completely reevaluate humanity's position in the Council." "Of course," Wells agreed. "But first, shall we continue our tour? I believe we were about to show you our medical facilities. We've made some interesting advances in healing technology that your people might find useful." The council members followed, their earlier arrogance replaced by eager attention. Humanity, it seemed, had more surprises to share. After the battle, the council chamber buzzed with excitement and fear. The rescued delegates had been safely returned, and the pirate fleet was now in custody. But questions about humanity's true capabilities filled every conversation. Commander Rebecca Stone, the Prometheus chief engineer, stood at the center of the chamber. Behind her, a holographic display showed Earth's solar system in perfect detail. "You want the truth about humanity's progress?" she asked the assembled council. Then let me show you what we've really been doing for the past 200 years. The hologram zoomed in on Jupiter's moons. Hidden in the gas giant's powerful magnetic field were massive shipyards and research stations. Similar facilities appeared around Saturn and deep under the ice of Neptune's largest moon. We detected your first scout ships entering our galaxy 400 years ago, Stone explained. Long before we officially achieved spaceflight, we watched, we learned, and most importantly, we prepared. Ambassador Trell leaned forward, his scales now a deep blue of intense interest. Impossible. Our stealth technology was very good, Stone agreed. But Earth had already survived 3 near-extinction events in our history. We were paranoid, always watching the skies. Our deep space sensors detected your quantum signatures. The hologram changed to show Earth's underground facilities, vast cities and factories hidden beneath mountains and oceans, all dedicated to research and development. While you saw our first clumsy steps into space, Stone continued, we were actually perfecting our technology. Every failure was carefully planned. Every primitive ship we showed you carried hidden sensors, studying your technology. Captain Wells stepped forward. We didn't do this out of fear or mistrust. We did it because history taught us a valuable lesson. First contact between civilizations often ends badly for the less advanced species. The hologram now showed hundreds of smaller ships hidden throughout Earth's solar system, each more advanced than anything the Council had seen before. The Prometheus isn't just a ship, Stone explained. It's a declaration. Humanity is ready to be a true partner in galactic civilization. We can offer medical technology that can cure diseases your people thought hopeless. Clean energy systems that could power entire worlds without damage. And yes, defensive capabilities that could help protect all peaceful species. One of the council members, a being of pure energy, pulsed with curiosity. Why reveal everything now? Because we detected something at the edge of the galaxy, Wells answered grimly. Something that threatens everyone. We'll need to work together to face it. Stone nodded and changed the hologram one final time. It showed a network of human diplomatic outposts, secretly established with various minor species that the Council had often overlooked. We didn't just study technology, she said. We built friendships, alliances. We helped smaller species develop, shared our medical knowledge in secret, because we believe that true strength comes from cooperation, not competition. Ambassador Trell stood slowly. You've had the power to dominate the galaxy for decades. Instead, you chose to help others in secret while pretending to be less advanced. Why? Because that's what good neighbors do, Stone replied simply. We didn't want to rule the galaxy. We wanted to join it. As equals, not conquerors. The chamber fell silent as the truth sank in. Humanity hadn't just built advanced ships or weapons. They had spent centuries preparing to be productive members of the galactic community. We have one request, Captain Wells said into the silence. Let us share what we've learned. Not just the technology, but the importance of lifting each other up. Because the threat we've detected, we'll need everyone working together to face it. Ambassador Trell looked around the chamber, seeing the same realization on every face. They hadn't just discovered a powerful new species. They had found something far more valuable. Wise and capable allies who understood the true meaning of civilization. I believe, Trell announced, it's time to call an emergency session of the full council. Humanity has much to teach us. About technology, yes, but more importantly, about wisdom. The emergency council session stretched into its 4th hour. The vast chamber, usually a model of order and protocol, had descended into barely controlled chaos. Different species were taking sides, forming new alliances, and making demands, all because of humanity's revelations. This is an outrage, thundered Representative Mox of the Commerce Worlds, his crystalline form flashing with angry red pulses. They spied on us for centuries. They violated every protocol of technological development. They saved 3 of our colonies from plague last year, countered a representative of the Outer Rim worlds. Her tentacles waved in excitement. We thought it was a miracle cure from unknown traitors. Now we know. It was humans all along. Ambassador Trell watched from his central podium as more revelations poured in. Reports flooded the Council's networks as various species came forward with stories of mysterious benefactors who had helped them through disasters, provided advanced medical care, or shared crucial scientific breakthroughs. All of them, it now seemed, were secretly humans. Captain Wells and Commander Stone stood calmly in the center of the storm. They had expected this reaction. The Prometheus wasn't just a show of force, Stone explained to a group of technical specialists. It's a mobile research and aid station. We've been using smaller versions to help developing worlds for decades. But why the deception? Demanded another council member. Why not reveal yourselves earlier? Because of this exact reaction, Wells answered simply. Look around this room. Some see us as threats. Others want to exploit our technology. A few suggest war. If we had revealed everything at first contact, would you have believed we came in peace? The chamber grew quiet as his words sank in. Humanity's approach suddenly made more sense. They had proven their peaceful intentions through years of secret aid before revealing their true power. Ambassador Trell raised his hand for attention. We have a more immediate concern. The humans speak of a threat at the galaxy's edge. Perhaps we should focus on that. No, shouted Representative Mox. First, we must discuss sanctions. They violated our laws. Laws that don't actually exist, interrupted one of the human representatives. There are no council regulations about how quickly a species must reveal its technological advances. We checked, very carefully. More arguments broke out. Some council members called for immediately alliance with Earth. Others demanded access to human technology. A few suggested containing humanity before they grew even stronger. In the midst of the chaos, a quiet voice spoke up. It came from one of the smallest council members, representing a species that had nearly gone extinct before mysterious helpers saved them with advanced medical technology. They could have conquered us at any time, the tiny being said. Instead, they helped us, healed us, asked nothing in return. Perhaps we should consider what that says about their character. The chamber fell silent again. The simple truth of those words cut through the political maneuvering and fear. Captain Wells stepped forward. We don't seek to rule or dominate. The Prometheus and our other ships were built to protect and serve. Yes, we have advanced technology. Yes, we kept it hidden. But look at how we used it, to help, to heal, to save. Commander Stone activated a holographic display. The threat we've detected is real. We estimate 3 months before it reaches populated space. We can face it alone if we must, but we'd rather face it together, as true allies. Ambassador Trell looked around the chamber, seeing the shift in attitudes. Fear was being replaced by understanding, suspicion by respect. I propose, Trell announced, that we table the discussion of humanity's methods. Instead, let us focus on 2 things: the threat they've detected, and what we can learn from a species that chose to help others even while hiding their true nature. The vote was almost unanimous. As the council members filed out to begin preparations, many stopped to speak with the human representatives. The questions had changed from accusations to requests for cooperation and offers of friendship. Humanity's greatest victory, it seemed, wasn't their technological advancement. It was proving they could be trusted with such power. The council's war room was dark except for the massive holographic display showing the galaxy's outer rim. Captain Wells stood before the assembled military leaders of 20 major species, his face grim as he played the sensor recordings. At the edge of known space, something was moving. Something big. We first detected them 2 years ago, Wells explained. Ancient ships, sleeping in the void between galaxies. Now they're waking up. Hundreds of them, each one larger than the Prometheus. The recording showed enormous vessels, black as the space around them, shaped like twisted crystals. They moved with unnatural speed, leaving destruction in their wake. "Are they alive?" asked the martial commander of the Ridge Worlds, his armored carapace clicking nervously. "Not exactly," Commander Stone answered. She zoomed in on one of the vessels. "They're automated, ancient weapons left behind by a civilization that vanished millions of years ago. We found records of them in ruins across several worlds." Ambassador Trell's scales had turned almost white. "This is why you built the Prometheus. You knew they were coming." "We found the warning signs centuries ago," Wells confirmed. "Ancient messages left by those who faced them before. These ships were designed to harvest all advanced technology they encounter, using it to build more of themselves. They've destroyed dozens of galaxies." The display showed more details. Planets stripped of all metal and technology, entire solar systems converted into raw materials for more crystal ships. "Our standard weapons are useless," reported a Council military advisor. "Energy weapons are absorbed. Physical projectiles can't penetrate their hulls. Our biggest ships would be like toys to them." "Now you understand why we built as we did," Stone said quietly. "The Prometheus isn't just big. It's specifically designed to fight these things. Every technology we developed was with this threat in mind." She changed the display to show the Prometheus internal systems. "Our energy absorption shields, reverse-engineered from ancient defensive technology. The gravity control systems, developed to counter their primary weapons. We even built our hull from materials they can't process. But even the Prometheus can't fight hundreds of them alone." Wells added, "We need to work together. Each species here has unique technologies, different ways of thinking. Together, we might have a chance." The Council members watched as more sensor data showed the crystal ships destroying an uninhabited solar system. Their efficiency was terrifying. Within hours, nothing remained but debris. "How long do we have?" Trell asked. 3 months until they reached the first populated worlds," Wells answered. "Less than a year before they reach the core worlds. We need to act now." Commander Stone activated another display, showing plans for defensive upgrades. "We can modify your ships, strengthen your weapons. The Prometheus carries manufacturing facilities that can work around the clock. But we'll need resources, crews, and full cooperation." "And you're willing to share your technology?" asked Representative Mox, who had been among humanity's strongest critics. "Everything you've developed." "Everything," Wells confirmed. "No secrets, no holding back. Humanity's resources, technology, and ships are all available to help defend the galaxy. This threat is bigger than any one species." The room was silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't hidden their technology out of fear or greed. They had been preparing for this moment, developing the tools everyone would need to survive. Ambassador Trell stood. "I move that we declare an emergency throughout Council space. All resources will be dedicated to preparation for this threat." And he added, looking at Wells, "that we formally accept humanity as full partners in the defense of our galaxy." The vote was unanimous. Within hours, ships from every Council species were heading toward Earth's shipyards. The Prometheus began transmitting technical data to every major world. The greatest cooperation in galactic history had begun. As the Council members rushed to begin preparations, Captain Wells watched the tactical display showing the approaching crystal ships. The real test of humanity's preparations was about to begin. The battle raged across 3 solar systems. The ancient crystal ships moved like a swarm of deadly insects, their black surfaces absorbing light and energy. But they faced something they had never encountered in their millions of years of existence: a united galaxy. The Prometheus led the combined fleet, its massive form serving as both command center and primary weapon platform. Around it flew ships from every Council species, each modified with human technology, but fighting with their own unique tactics and strategies. "Energy spike from Sector 7, announced Commander Stone from her station on the Prometheus bridge. 3 crystal ships attempting to merge. Captain Wells nodded calmly. "Execute Pattern Delta," Let's show them what different species can do when they work together. The battle plan unfolded like a deadly dance. Small, agile ships from the Ridge Worlds darted between the crystal vessels, their modified weapons disrupting the enemy's attempt to combine. Massive energy projectors from the Commerce World ships fired next, not to destroy but to hold the crystal ships in place. Then the Prometheus made its move. All ships clear the target zone. Wells ordered, activating the primary weapon. The great dreadnought's hull shifted, panels sliding aside to reveal what looked like a massive lens. The energy gathered from hundreds of absorbed attacks over the past week focused into a single point. What emerged wasn't a beam or a blast. It was a controlled rupture in space itself. The crystal ships, for the first time in their ancient existence, showed something like fear. They tried to retreat, but it was too late. The rupture expanded, creating a localized field where the laws of physics bent and twisted. The crystal ship's own technology turned against them, their structures breaking down at the atomic level. 3 targets neutralized, Stone reported. The remaining crystal ships are pulling back to regroup. Ambassador Trell, watching from the Council's command carrier, leaned forward. They've never retreated before. Not in any historical record we found. Because they've never faced anything they couldn't eventually overwhelm, Wells explained. But they've never faced a galaxy united in defense, every species contributing its strength, covering others' weaknesses. The battle continued for 3 more days. The crystal ships tried every strategy in their ancient programming, but each time they were met with different combinations of species working together. Humans provided the advanced technology, but it was the Council's species' diverse tactics and approaches that made victory possible. Finally, the last crystal ship fell. The combined fleet had suffered losses, but they had achieved what countless civilizations before them had failed to do. They had stopped the ancient harvesters. 1 month later, the Council chamber was filled again, but the atmosphere couldn't have been more different from that first meeting with the Prometheus. Captain Wells and Commander Stone stood with Ambassador Trell as he addressed the assembly. "Today marks a new era for our galaxy," Trell announced. "The threat is ended, but more importantly, we have learned what we can achieve together. Humanity's gift to us wasn't just their technology. It was the lesson that true strength comes from unity and cooperation." The chamber erupted in agreement. Already, joint projects were underway across Council space. Human medical technology was being combined with other species' biological knowledge to cure ancient diseases. The Prometheus power systems were being adapted to solve energy crises on dozens of worlds. "We still have much to learn from each other," Wells said to Trell as they watched the celebrations. "The crystal ships might be gone, but there are always new challenges ahead." Trell's scales shifted to a warm gold color of contentment. "Indeed, and now we face them together, as equals. Though I must ask, do you humans have any other surprises hidden away?" Wells smiled. "Now that would be telling, wouldn't it? Let's just say humanity believes in being prepared, but now we prepare together, as part of the galactic family." As if to emphasize his words, the Prometheus hung visible through the chamber's windows, no longer a symbol of hidden power, but a reminder of what different species could achieve when they worked as one. The galaxy had entered a new age, and for the first time in its history, it faced the future truly united.